Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I talk about TCM or traditional Chinese medicine and how it can improve your life and for you to have a more better and healthy and more wholesome life through a holistic approach. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what the ideal TCM diet is like, and which is very different to today's modern view on a perfect diet. In TCM, it is all about healthy living and living a balanced lifestyle, and this is why the art of eating or having a correct way of eating plays a huge part in TCM. I am a licensed TCM practitioner in the Netherlands, and I practice acupuncture and Chinese herbs in my own clinic, and I get asked a lot by this question: what is a good diet according to TCM? I think this is a very good question because we cannot rely or keep relying on acupuncture and herbs alone to keep improving our health. There comes a day that you actually stop your treatments with acupuncture and herbs, and you have to start relying on your own healthy lifestyle, and one of them is by improving your diet. So let's get straight to the point. What is a good diet or a good way of eating your food according to TCM, opposed to the Western concept of an ideal diet? In TCM, it has never been about calculations or limitations. What do I mean with that? We don't see food as a restriction, as like you can only eat so much carbs or calories per day, you can eat only so much fat, or limitations such as you can only have this kind of oil or this kind of sugar, or no sugar at all, or only unrefined sugar. No, there's nothing like that. We believe in balance and not in restrictions or limitation or extremes. TCM and its knowledge about food and diet has existed over thousands of years, and never has there been a need of putting a restriction or limitation on a food or having a complicated calculations of numbers to let people eat healthy and live a balanced lifestyle. Then what is eating correctly back then? Back then they didn't have this knowledge about carbs or calories, yet they didn't have this high incidence in obesity or any disease that is food related or diet related. So how did they do it differently? Actually, the ironic thing is nowadays, with our obsession in thinking of our food in numbers or limits, which is typically done in more westernized countries, obesity tends to be more prevalent in these countries versus countries who are doing less well financially speaking and don't buy into these calculations on limitation of food, have less incidence in obesity or other related diseases that is due to poor eating habits. So why do countries who seem to be more modern and more scientifically knowledgeable about food struggle more with obesity and other diseases when they do know how to count calories and carbs and take on modern diets? Well, in TCM, eating correctly or having a good diet, it was never about putting limitations on your food intake or doing complicated calculation on how much you should eat. We have a whole different view of consuming food compared to the modern take of a good diet. Number one is eating on time, which means eating on regular times and not skipping on your breakfast or lunch or dinner. You eat breakfast, for example, at 8 a.m. and you should continue so doing that for the rest of the week and not changing the next day to 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. just because you overslept or didn't make enough time. Due to the hectic or unorganized lifestyle most of us have, many people fail to eat on time due to the tight schedule we get and forgetting to nourish our bodies with food on time. Number two is eating fresh and whole foods and organic. Versus nowadays, most of us have more easy access to processed food or junk food because it's easy, it's faster and cheaper. Most of us simply don't have the time and privilege to work full time and at the same time able to prepare our breakfast, lunch and dinner freshly. Number three is eating food in variation, There's no such thing as in thinking in extremes, like only eating carbs or no carbs on certain days, no sugar or very little sugar, or only unrefined sugar and no white sugar at all, or only taking a certain type of oil, only olive oil and no other oil, or only that amount of fat, etc. Nowadays, we tend to have this obsession of taking either everything or nothing when it comes to food. But actually, being between these extremes is actually the best for our body. Number 4, and what makes TCM diet unique, is that we eat according to the seasons. We believe that all foods, fruits and vegetables belong to a certain element and therefore belong to a certain season. For example, pumpkin is a very yin nourishing vegetable and is best to be consumed during fall because fall is a very yin deficient season. Therefore, eating vegetables such as pumpkin can prevent dry skin and dry cough during that season. Another example is consuming watermelon only during summer because watermelon is a very cooling fruit and can only be consumed during a warm season. Therefore, eating watermelon in the winter is a real no-no and can lead to many health problems. Number 5 is eating in balance. We don't recommend in overeating nor undereating. Not only will you easily gain weight this way, but we also think this as abusing your body by mistreating your organs, since overeating or staying hungry for a period of time damages your organs and therefore also your digestive system. Number 6 is eating warm and cooked foods. TCM is not against consuming raw foods or cold foods. However, cooked foods is suitable for most people because most people, due to different lifestyle habits, especially in modern society, tend to have a weak digestion, and therefore food that is already cooked and warm is more light on the digestive system versus raw food that tends to be more heavy to digest for people with a weak digestion. Number 7 is eating consciously. It is advised to consume your food while being in the present, in the moment. Just being grateful to be able to eat a well-rounded meal. In the past, and still present in some cultures, it was very common to say prayers or doing something ceremonial before starting your meal. Even talking during eating was not encouraged and seen as disrespectful for the food that has been made especially for you, from the farmer to the cook to your plate. Versus nowadays, eating and looking at the phone or television at the same time, or making casual conversations with your family and friends is so normalized that food is taken for granted, and our mind is just too busy to make a connection between our food and nature. And most people connect their food with the supermarket or a restaurant. They don't see the food made from scratch, especially people who grew up in the city. Thank you so much for your time. I make videos about TCM, health and well-being. Like and subscribe, and I see you in the next video.